Honored to be in the house today with Brian L. Carr. After sitting down here speaking to this special person, I figured out that even though we are at different ends of the spectrum, it's amazing that we support what's important. Brian, how you doing today, my brother?
I'm good. Thanks for having me.
Well, look, let me tell you, when we got turned on to your organization, you're actually the Chief Advancement Officer of, and let me get it right. I tell you what, you tell us the name of your organization.
I am blessed to work with Northwest Assistance Ministries.
And you guys do great work.
We do. Thank you.
You know, and everything that I know about the person that turned me on to you was Teresa Allen, and everything that I know about you told me like, you know what, this is what I'm looking for. And I knew nothing about, and again, this, I know what you're doing in your work has nothing to do with politics, but as I usually do, try to pull the politics out of folk. And realizing what your politics was on the conservative side and seeing what you do and listening to what you believe, I said to myself, today's show has just changed. Because if more of us start to realize that, and you know, it's always a cliche to say we have more in common than we have apart. That's a cliche. But your presence in this studio and what you do, and something special that you said to me, you said, when people come to get service from us, we don't ask if you're Republican or Democrat. We don't ask if you're right-wing Republican like I was hitting up today. I saw you cringe when I said that. Don't worry. That is just who we are. We say things. And so when I saw you cringe and I said, I'm not changing these words because I want my brother here on the left to cringe when I say this, because there are certain things he's going to tell me that I'm going to cringe as well. But you know what? I just love the guy because of what he's doing in society.
Well, it's all about the love.
Yeah, I think I interviewed you once before, I think over Zoom. And I think then, you know, I could see the passion that you had for what you're doing, but actually meeting you in person and us just shooting the bull, if you will. And I'm like, you know what? This guy's real. This guy's real. This is what we need to be talking about and being able to bring that to the fold.
Well, you know, you talk about us hitting it off.
Yeah.
You can't get more conservative than me.
I know that. That's my point.
And you're admittedly,
I'm a lefty.
You're a lefty.
I mean, yeah.
But we're here for the people.
Right.
It's about the people. It's about, you know, every day somebody's coming in the door of NAM or somebody's coming in the door of other organizations like ours, and they need help. Us calling each other names, us fighting it out on the Capitol steps isn't feeding one person.
Right.
It's not saving one family from domestic violence. It's not helping someone advance their career. We can love each other. We can talk to each other. We can hang out with each other. Okay, we disagree about some things. Mm-hmm. We can argue the whole tax thing till we're blue in the face. Mm-hmm. Has that fed anybody yet?
No, it has not.
Let's feed some people.
Right. You know, let me tell you something when you say that, right? Because today we're talking about these particular subjects, NAM, etc., the Northwest Assistance Ministries, etc. But I'm going to tell you something. See how you just talk about you being conservative and me being a lefty? You and I are going to be doing some other shows where we're going to really discuss those issues, where we're going to go back and forth with that. So folks, you guys better be ready for when Brother Carr and I get down into conservatism and progressiveness, because we're going to have some good, healthy discussion. So get ready for that, because like I tell you, I love the way he came here, and he likes who he is. I like who I am. And we're going to talk. I tell you what, Brian, let me go ahead and do the part of the show that I wrote up here, and it has to do with Mattress Max and Lena Hidalgo, two people that you know and two people that you are actually friendly with.
I am friends with both of them. They're both great people.
They're great,
and they're great for this city, and they're great for this community. Right.
So they shouldn't. This is what I wrote. I said Mattress Mac should have stayed in his lane. You don't have to agree with me here, brother. Mattress Mac should have stayed in his lane. He is no match for Lina Hidalgo in politics, just as she will not try to save you money on furniture today. To see what has happened with him getting into the lane about did they win? Was there any kind of voter issue, etc.? I'm sorry. In as much as my brother on my life would not want to say it too much, we are mostly blue county, brother. I know. We're mostly blue county.
Tell me about it.
I know. Come on. So it's not ironic that mostly blue won in this county, right? Come on, Mr. Conservative. Come on.
Can they both be right and both be wrong on this?
Okay, you're going to try to play the middle because you love them both. Go ahead.
Well, I do love them both.
Yeah.
And
say it. This is politics, or you can say whatever you want to say.
The lawsuit is part of the democracy.
Yes.
And sharing the records is part of democracy.
Okay.
All right. I didn't actually hear him say in the lawsuit that the election was bogus.
I know he didn't.
He may have said it another time, but just dealing with the lawsuit here.
Yes.
Give him the records.
Let me tell you something, Brian. I don't have a problem with that if it were bidirectional. Let's be honest.
What records of his do you want to see?
I don't want to see any record of his.
Well, then it's going to go one way right now.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't think he should be there like, what's the word? I think what Hidalgo said there is true. You don't want to go ahead and sow doubt in the electoral process. And I think there's too much doubt being sowed in the electoral process. And that creates, you remember, we talk about people fighting each other, right? That creates this is a blue county. I'm sorry. It's a blue county. Sorry, Mr. Carr. It's a blue county.
You keep reminding me of that. Like, I don't know. Okay.
Yeah.
And you're right.
Yeah.
You want to eliminate the doubt in the elections?
Yes.
If the paperwork backs it up, how much better could that be? I'm pretty
sure the paperwork's going to back it up.
I imagine it will too.
Yeah, but I just think that look, you're a high level thinker, okay, and you understand.
My mom would be proud. Thank you for saying that.
Your mom would be proud, and you process those things. Unfortunately, a lot of folks aren't going to process it that way. Agreed. And that's my issue. Okay. That is my issue. A lot of folks, and I think Mattress Mac knows. I think Mattress Max is playing the politics here, and politics is played by everybody. But I think this particular type of politics, I agree with Hidalgo. I think this one is dangerous. Do you remember the election with Gore and Bush?
Absolutely.
Okay. When the Supreme Court ruled, and I think the Supreme Court erred in their ruling, but when they ruled, I thought Gore did that Gore thought more about, I am going to think more about my country, and I'm just going to go away. I won more votes. I think I won Florida, but I'm going away. And President Bush, J.W. Bush, is the president. That's what he said. When you start questioning elections, even as judges over and over and over tell you, we don't see anything that would change the election, that is at the core, in my opinion, of our country. And I find it difficult. Actually, this is where I would love to hear your thoughts on that.
Well, this is where we came together before the show.
Yes.
This is what, in my opinion, we need to change.
Okay.
It isn't about the elections. It is, but it isn't.
Right.
This gives both sides something to campaign on.
Right.
This gives them sound bites to get on your show, to get on the television shows, whether it's NBC or Fox News.
Right.
And they're speaking to their base.
Right.
And it's ammunition. And it gets them fired up. It gets them going. But it's all based right now in hate.
A lot of this stuff is based in hate, but I don't want to. Let me tell you why I don't want to hit certain things here, because you're here to talk about NAM, and I don't want to conflate. I don't want to get you too much into this other subject where it's going. I want to do a lot of shows with you, though.
Well, what I want to sum it up.
Yes.
Just like with NAM.
Uh-huh.
If we're taking this energy that we are on fighting over elections.
Right.
If we're taking this energy to call each other names.
Right.
And we come together like you and I came together today to serve hungry people, to take care of families that are escaping domestic violence like we're doing at NAM. If we're serving our seniors through Meals on Wheels, if we're taking that same energy and serving other people, whether it's through NAM or someone else,
right,
we're all better for
but
it.
Let me, I want to take that a step further, Brian. Yeah, I took to you because you're doing this good work with NAM, but that's not completely true. I took to you because on a human level, you're a nice person. I don't know your history. I just know I take vibes based on how I communicate with people. All right, and I'll be frank. Just about every white guy I know that has ministry on his name in this area, I would make the assumption that you are a conservative. I mean, I'm not necessarily correct, but I'm saying it's a good assumption to make, right? And in as much as, coming in and saying that, I was like, oh, I like this guy because of, of what, and I'm saying if we can get more people to start thinking that stuff instead of running to their tribe or their corners, we can do well. So yeah, I'm glad for what you're doing. I love what you're doing. But if I only could deal with you because, well, you serving the poor or whatever, that's important, but there's much more to stuff. You get what I'm saying? Absolutely.
We at NAM, while we may not stand publicly on left or the right or make public, can I tell you the gun?
Yes, please do. That's important. Actually, it's an important story, the gun story.
Okay, and this isn't to take us away from all these other topics, but there was a recent court ruling where it overturned a lower ruling where in Texas they wanted to remove guns from those individuals that had a restraining order placed against them in domestic violence cases. And obviously some people are running hard to the right and talking about the Second Amendment. Some people are running hard to the left, and they're missing the point. Yes, those are politics. Those are issues. We can argue about that at another time. You and I would probably disagree in an argument. But there's real life families there. And so we at NAM had an opportunity to join a coalition of Harris County organizations that serve families that are dealing with domestic violence. All standing up saying, we support removing the guns out of this situation. Now, I am a conservative. A lot of our donors are conservative, so there was a concern there. Before NAM gets involved in something like that, our management team discusses it. I went within our management team and I said, if we get to calls, I am comfortable handling those calls because we're not standing on removing guns. We're standing with the families that are dealing with domestic violence. And that is what I am talking about with this. Okay, Lena and Mattress Mac, you're great for your both sides. There's money coming in, all that. That's great. We can deal with the election issue when it comes in. But a lot of these politics, a lot of these issues are people issues, not political issues. And that's where I think you and I can come to a lot of agreement because at the root of all these political issues are what? People. People whose lives can and are affected. And that's why at NAM, when somebody comes in, we don't ask them, you Republican, Democrat? We don't ask them their immigration status. What we hear is that they're hungry. And I keep saying that, but that's what NAM is. Our mission statement is very simple. We strive to provide basic human needs through neighbors helping neighbors. And that neighbors helping neighbors is the best 3 words I have heard in my life. Because that's what you and I should be doing, regardless of what side we're on. Next November, when we go to election, you're going to go to one side of the room. I'll go to the other. Yeah. We'll be fine. We can joke about it later. We cancel out each other's vote. Mm-hmm. And the other 100,000 will cancel out mine several times, but okay.
Yes.
I'm in a blue county. I know.
Let me just say this here, because Bridge MCP wants to know, who is this man? Because Bridge, interestingly, Bridge lives in New York. She's one of our PDR posse members here. I'm coming to you, Teresa, and I'm coming to you, Joe. She's one of our great folks out there in New York, but she lives in a very Republican part of New York, the state of New York. And we talk all the time, and she talks about how great her neighbors are. And they know that she's a pinko leftist liberal like yours truly. And they all get along so well. They exchange food. They talk. They help each other out because they get it. A lot of this stuff is simply cultural, but we have to get the hate portion out of it. Brian, before I give Brian a chance to tell that story, I want to tell a story from last night, and I'm going to try to be really quick with it. My wife went to her church, the Luke, last night for their monthly meeting of their Be the Bridge Project initiative. It's a monthly ongoing dialogue between a predominantly black church, the Luke, and the predominantly white church, Kingwood Christian Church in Kingwood, Texas. I live in Kingwood, Texas. I am proud of the two pastors, Pastor Timothy Sloan and Pastor Chad Mattingly. And for all my Libbies, I'm still a humanist, but I support my wife, who's a deacon at the Luke. But she does her thing there, and I make sure I'm on her arm when I need to be. I'm proud of the two pastors, Pastor Timothy Sloan and Pastor Chad Mattingly. Professor Dr. John J. Theis, a well-known community organizer and head of the Lone Star College Center of Civic Engagement, is the facilitator of this program among many types of engagements activities he organizes. The churches formed an alliance to sustain substantive and intentional discussions on racial issues and unity. These great community leaders understand Dr. Martin Luther King's statement about the most segregated hour in America. An attendee from Kingwood Christian Church gave my wife a flyer and asked her to give it to me. She said she was very concerned about these types of flyers. I included the entire flyer at the end of the post. So when you guys go to the post, you'll see the flyers. Have you ever wondered why so many predominantly white people vote for a man as unintellectually, morally defective, selfish, and narcissistic as Donald Trump and many of his cohorts? And brother, I would vote for you, okay? Not Trump. All right? Our plutocracy, our oligarchy, and many of our wealthy understand that they can only continue their legalized thievery if they create maximum polarization. They turn misunderstanding and ignorance into existential differences that shut down the critical thinking of many. And if you are not thinking critically and acquiesce to the false messages they put out, then you will fail to see the culprits actually causing us harm. The flyer is a very expensive flyer to create and mass mail. As a progressive political activist, I know we cannot match the money that the wealthy plutocrats and oligarchs have. But we have a bigger weapon: community engagement, personal attributes, and more if we choose to inoculate ourselves from the hate they sell and just show where we care. If we stop just preaching to the choir and wondering why the others just won't change, then we'll really solve the problems. Your thoughts? And like I said, don't hold it against me now, Mr. Conservative, that I said that about your boy.
All right.
Yeah.
We have a lot of agreement on this.
I know we do.
Why? Why that flyer? What?
I don't. That's
what.
That's it.
What purpose of good?
Right.
Good does it actually bring to the table? We talk about the politicians and their issues and who we vote for, and there's name calling and all that. And your boy Barack Obama,
right?
I would have him in my house any day because I have seen him as a father.
Yes.
I have seen him with his family.
Right.
I don't like his issues.
I know you don't like his policies. We talk about it another day.
That's another show. But I would welcome him into my home. Why aren't we doing that? That's what politics used to be. In stump speech. What was a stump speech? Because politicians would stand on tree stumps to talk to small groups of people in a community to serve the community.
Right.
We've lost that. I dare these politicians, okay? You may not ever have me back on your show after this.
No, I would.
March the 11th.
Yes.
We are having a food distribution.
Yes.
We are feeding the hungry. You cannot get any more basic than that. We are feeding the hungry. All these politicians who want to hate each other, come out and load food in the cars at NAM. March the 11th, 8 a.m. until we run out of food.
Repeat that, brother. Repeat that.
March the 11th, Northwest Assistance Ministries. We are handing out food. We are feeding the hungry. What a better photo op. I'll take the photo. Don't hate. Feed someone. Who do you who are they going to vote for? You put food in my car. Who do you think I'm going to vote for?
Exactly, brother. Let me tell you, this is a chat. I have this program, and this is my chat. I have about 30 to 40% dedicated conservative listeners of my show on the internet, and they're all contributors. The conservatives are contributors as well. So, I mean, what people don't think, they don't get it. Most people, and it's not a cliche, most people want the same thing. And in saying that, also, most people want to be liked, and most people want to feel ushered into some, we can call it a gang, we can call it a tribe, we can call it whatever you want, but they want to feel home. And these charlatanes, that's what they do. They create a false home. You have to, and that is what we got to get away from. I want to be able to eventually have the day that you're not going to call me a pinko liberal, progressive socialist, and a day that I'm not going to call you, hey, conservative, right-wing nut job. All right. I want that day to come, because when we take those skins off, we're going to realize, well, you know what? No, actually, you want to go home and feed your kid just like I want to go home and feed your kid. You want your kid to be proud of you just like I want my kid to be proud of me. You want to, I mean, the things that we're going to fight about are the things that plutocrats want us to fight about. That's right. And we can fight about those. Yeah. That's what made this country great. That's what makes us strong. That's, iron sharpens iron. So it does. That's just to help you out, that's a biblical verse. Oh. I'll help you out on that. Yeah, help me out on that one, brother. But yeah, by us disagreeing, there's nothing wrong with the disagreement at all. The two-party system, the three-party system, that works. That holds each other from going too far to either side. Right. If you look at it, no matter which party is in control, the other party just being there is there to keep from going any too far in either direction. And that's good. Yeah, yeah. It's also, let's face it, it's also good for business. No kidding. I mean, television, radio, newspapers, without the politics, where would we be? Yeah. But in the end, we all are Americans. We're all living in this country trying to do the best we can, trying to raise our kids, trying to, keep our dog in our own yard. We're all trying to do the right thing. And when it comes down to it, I don't think there's a Democrat or Republican that wants those families in Ohio to get sick from those chemicals. No, they don't. I don't think there's a Democrat or Republican who enjoyed all the canceled flights. Doesn't make it a political conspiracy either way. Right. Sometimes bad stuff happens. And
Houston knows that as well as anybody.
No kidding. No.
A few years ago, we had an uninvited guest named Harvey come in and dumped rain and kept dumping rain. And the day it stopped raining, I went up to NAM and just to check out the building. Parked in the parking lot, went in, turned the lights on, checked out the building. A couple other people were with me. Within 15 minutes, there was 30 people in line at NAM for assistance. Why? Because they saw our cars in the parking lot. They didn't care if I was a Republican or a Democrat. They cared they needed service. So we weren't planning on it, but for about 4 hours, we opened the doors and we gave out food. And from that moment on, for over 2.5 years, we had a Harvey relief program.
I don't want to cut you, but you were even talking a lot about NAM, but I don't think we gave them your website or your address. So give them both of that, please.
Website is simple, namonline.org.
Is it to spell it for them? Because
NAM, N-A-M, online.org.
And where are you located?
We're located at 15555 Kirkendall, and there's no R in Kirkendall.
That always gets me, yeah.
And that's at the corner of 1960 and Kirkendall Road up in the northwest part of Harris County. Contact our website. The phone numbers are there. If you need help, contact us. We are giving food. We're helping with rent assistance. We have this great program right now where we're training electrical apprentices in a 6 weeks program so they can go get a job with Trio Electric or other electric companies. Trio helped develop the curriculum. This is a great organization. I love this organization. And people who come here get help. We had a mother who was escaping domestic violence, and she needed some food. So we helped her get some food, and as we're loading it in her car, she hugs me, and all she does is keep saying, thank you, thank you, thank you. And we're like, this is what we do. And within 2 weeks, she had another place to live. We were able to provide her with some furnishings. We were able to get her set up again, and she and her kids felt safe.
That's what I'm talking about. That is what I'm talking about. And that's all. Let me tell you. Thank you, sir. That's all that I want to preach. I want us to. I believe in an egalitarian society. That's what I believe in. I believe in a society that reminds us that we are our brother's keeper. I mean, it's not. Some people hate when I talk about brothers keepers and all that kind of stuff, but that's what I believe. That's what I think we should be. I mean, why the hell have a society if there's no society in society? Why?
How many of us, one bad illness, one loss of a job, a bad car repair, how many of us are that close to being in the same situation most of our clients are in? We're that close.
Absolutely. I want to say to our great folks in the room, Bridge MCP, of course, I think I shouted it out already, but we also have Eric Hayes, and Eric Hayes is one of our conservative guys, and I think he wanted to slap me across my head because what he did is he went ahead and he said, hey, iron sharpens from the Bible. So he knew I have the smartest folks here. So if I miss something.
So you've heard from 2 of the 3 conservatives in Harris County today.
But I hate, I'm going to hate to say this, but Harris County actually has about 40% conservative.
We are a great diverse community.
Yes.
And I have to say this. Every time something terrible has happened, every time a catastrophe has happened, the community expects organizations like NAM to step forward. And you know what? They stand with us.
I know, but you know what is so funny about Houston? In as much as we have the polarization around the rest of the country has, that's one thing that I notice. When we have disasters, as a city, as a county, we actually come together.
Agreed.
Agreed. That's one example. Thing I can always say about the Houston area. It always changes. Persuasive Barrier, welcome to Politics Done, or I'm saluting you in Politics Done Right in the chat. John Smith. Actually, there are a bunch of conservatives in here. John Smith, Eric Hayes, Lee Grant. Bunch of them in here today, brother.
Hey, I don't feel so alone.
All right, man. So anyway, let's see. Who did I? Alistair Waters is in the house as well. We also have. I like to call, for all these people that keep in touch and follow us all the time. I always like to make sure to call you. Maywood is in the house as well. Troy Astro, Lee Johnson. Anyway, folks, listen. We're coming close to the end of the show. Like I said, you changed my show today. Because I had my rant ready for the issue that that was going on in my wife's church, the lady who got the flyer, and I also was going to expand a little bit on the Lina Hidalgo issue, but the chemistry was, when we came in, I really enjoyed the topic. And what I want to do, like I said, I work with a group called the Bridge Alliance, which we are trying to bring. And people think about it's right and left. It's more than just right and left. It's a lot of different factions. And we have these symposiums where we bring all these different factions together, and we actually get things done together in these big rooms and wherever we go. But then the idea is, how do you keep it flowing after it's all gone? And then, of course, I was in a coffee party, and we were sort of trying to do the same thing. We used to call it that we were not a bipartisan organization. We're a transpartisan organization where we try to get things going. And again, like I said, it doesn't mean taking away your identity or anything like that. But I'm going to shock you right now. You don't know it, brother. You come into this darn studio and I'm Mr. Conservative. And to all my listeners, I know later on today, you know what they're going to tell me? Why does Brian think he's a conservative? That's the first thing that I'm going to hear. All right. That's the first thing I'm going to hear. And you know why? Because they're going to say, wait a minute. He's a guy that would stand for all this, and that. And the way we label people, the way we do labeling, if you were to throw yourself on a chart, and it's going to prove something that I say all the time, your party has so much more to do with culture than who you really are.
Well, conservative, liberal, first of all, let's help each other.
Absolutely.
And I think, there's the stigma that only the liberals care about other people, and that's not true.
I know it's not true. By the way, I know it's not true.
And I'm here to be that example. And it's all about, you said it, who we are. Mm-hmm. You don't have to change who we are. You don't have to deny who you voted for. You don't have to try to shame it. I work every day trying to be non-political in my job because the first thing we do is help people. Mm-hmm. But I can't do that if that's not part of my heart. And that's what makes an organization like NAN, Northwest Assistance Ministries, so strong, is that neighbors helping neighbors. We have 3,400 volunteers and need more. If you can volunteer, go to namonline.org. We need you to volunteer. These volunteers are incredible. They work so hard to help other people they don't know. And people who look different than they do, people who act different than they do, and they believe different, but they show up because they care.
Chief Advancement Officer Brian L. Carr of Northwest Assistance Ministries. I can tell you it has been my pleasure having you on the program today. We need more of you as prototypes. So thank you so kindly for having been on Politics Done Right. We spend a lot of time deconstructing the news, trying to parse it into a form that everybody can understand. We try to find those little nitpicks where it flies above the fray, etc. If you really like these videos that we do, I want to ask a big favor. Please go ahead. Number 1, subscribe to our channel. And number 2, please join if you can. Thank you so kindly for watching. Keep watching. Please remember to share. We must populate the entire internet with our progressive message, a message that we know is what most Americans say that they want. So help us, please join.